talking brackets, y'all. Ring brothers.
Hey everyone, welcome into March Chadness. Chad Rink, follow me on X at Chad Ochorinco. Nate Rink, follow him on X at NateLifters23. Go to FanStreamSports.com. We'll kind of dive in to the NCAA here real quick. We did see Cincinnati, the Bearcats, pull off a victory against Iowa State for their second loss. As a big win for the UC program. How are things down in Cincinnati? Were people pumped about it, or were people like, eh?
I haven't really heard much from my buddies about it, so I got to imagine everybody's excited. I mean, they stormed the court like they won the national championship, but it is a huge win. I think it does more for Iowa State than it does for UC. I don't think UC is going to jump up, a whole lot. I think it'll knock Iowa State down slightly, but I mean, they won by 9. I didn't get to watch the game, but I was checking the scores yesterday and I couldn't believe it. So
when I heard about it
for UC.
Yeah, I mean, that's like probably the first big win Cincinnati's had in, probably a decade. I don't know. It's been a minute since you
Bob Huggins years.
That's what I'm thinking. So good for them. Good for the Bearcats. Iowa State's still going to be one of the best teams out there, so I'm not too concerned. But a nice win for Cincinnati. So let's kind of look at. We'll go back to KenPom. Kind of look at the top 10 ranked KenPom teams right now. You got Michigan, Arizona, Duke, Purdue, Gonzaga round out the top 5. Should not be any surprise with those top 5. If you look at the offensive rating for those 5, they are all in the top 10. And in the defensive rating on KenPom, all in the top 10 except for Purdue. Purdue is at 18. So any surprises there with those 5 teams that you think, Nate, as possible national champions?
No, I mean, still Iowa State is still, kind of came from out of nowhere. I don't think anybody saw that coming. But no, it's all pretty much what I was expecting going into the season. Same teams.
Yeah, I mean, I think Gonzaga probably is the one I would not bank on the top 5 making a tournament run. I don't think they're as good as some of the Gonzaga teams from in the past. And again, they just don't play really the strength of schedule as these other ones. So rounding out,
when there was a time when we wouldn't ever be saying, "Oh, this is not the Gonzaga team of the past."
Right? Yeah,
don't ever count them out.
Exactly. Gonzaga's 19-1, a top 5 team. Like, it's kind of a weak Gonzaga team. So, I like just the fact I remember when Gonzaga. We're old enough to remember when Gonzaga was came out of nowhere, and then they've just now a powerhouse for decades. So, rounding out the other one, you got Illinois, Houston, the aforementioned Iowa State, Florida, Michigan State round out the top 10. When you get there, Illinois is the only one with a top 10 offensive rating in KenPom. You got Iowa State and Florida right there at 13 and 11. Most of these teams are good defensively. You've got 4 of those 5 are top 11, and then Illinois is 21. So that bottom half are good quality teams, and I could see any of these 5 teams making a Final Four run this year.
Yeah, especially once Illinois starts playing, more Big Ten schedule. We'll see. Don't ever count them out either. So
yeah,
they look pretty solid on both sides of the ball.
Right. Yeah. Florida's interesting because Florida is ranked 9 on KenPom. They are 11th in offensive rating, 11th in defensive rating. They do have the 3rd strongest strength of schedule, and that's probably why they do have 5 losses. So Florida could be one of those teams based on seeding could end up like a 3 seed that could make a Final Four run just because of the losses they have. And then if you start looking at the other 20, 11 through 20, Connecticut's there. I'm not sold on Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt now has 2 losses, and then followed by Nebraska. I don't know if I'm sold on either of those teams. And then you got Virginia, BYU. So Connecticut's really one of those of the other top 15 that I think really can make a quality run, Elite 8, Final Four. Do you think any of these other like Vanderbilt, Nebraska teams, BYU, could make a run?
We'll see who Nebraska is. Out of any of those 3, it would be Nebraska, but I wouldn't count on it, but you never know. I didn't see Nebraska playing like this, but IU stuck it to them, and so once they start playing some some good ranked teams. We'll see, but I would say no. But if it's any of those three, it would be Nebraska.
Yeah. And then there's some interesting teams here from 16 to 20. You got Louisville, Alabama, Iowa, Kansas, St. John. Alabama is the number one ranked offensive team according to KenPom. You've got Louisville is a top 10 in offensive, and then in defense you've got of those five, St. John's, Kansas, Iowa are on the back end of the 20. So I kind of like the Louisville, Alabama, Kansas more than probably any of the teams but Connecticut above them. It's just Kansas seems to struggle all the time. St. John's, you got to kind of watch St. John's with the coaching they have. But Alabama could be a force this year. I know they have been in the past. But I do like some of those teams down there to maybe as a 4 or 5 seed, maybe make an Elite Eight run.
Yeah, I like Louisville. They got some stud players. They got a good coach. I think they can do well. And yeah, maybe if IU's become a football school, maybe Alabama's going to start being a basketball school. So I'm not going to count them out.
No, and they've been good over the last several years. I think they do have one Final Four run here recently. So, and it's like you start looking, you got Arizona undefeated, Nebraska undefeated, and then you go all the way down to the 94th ranked team in KenPom, also in state, Miami of Ohio, 19-0. They are the most efficient 3-point shooting team in the country.
That's how they won last night, a 3-pointer at the buzzer to win the game.
Yeah, they are the most efficient 3-point shooting team. They are 76th ranked in the KenPom offensive rating, 128th in defensive rating, and probably why they are 19-0, they are 350th on strength of schedule. So they have not played anybody.
They played us and Kiwanis last week, I think.
There you go. Yeah, so you could not play a zone against them because they would torch it. But just something to think about. Miami of Ohio in the MAC. I don't think the MAC is too strong this year. So just kind of looking over that stuff again. If you're looking at the top 3, KenPom, we talked about that a couple weeks ago. That the champion over the last, I think, 10 years. I don't think it was 15. It might have been 10. I know it's 10. It might have been 15. Have come from a top 3 ranked KenPom team. So right now it's Michigan, Arizona, Duke. They fit all the other metrics of top 10 offense, defensive rating, and also in the strength of schedule. So just kind of looking at that, we're getting a little bit closer. Teams are starting to get losses because of the in conference play. That's always going to be a grind for a lot of these Power 5 conferences, those type of things. So we will get Jacob Reimer back on here in a couple weeks. I got to send him a text. I know he's wanting to get back on, and then dive into some of these teams as we're getting closer and closer. But it's going to be interesting to see how our Final Four shape up. That's what I'm most excited about to see. And I know it's not going to pan out because either we'll have 3 number ones or 3 of our teams will be all in the Midwest region or something like that. But this is a fun time of year, especially as football is winding down. I will start following and diving into college basketball a lot more on that. So right now we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, it's a Saturday Night Live cast member edition of March Chadness. Stick around, see who can win that, and we'll be right back.
Sports fans, it's time to gear up. Head to fanstreamsports.com and check out our brand new merchandise store. We're talking bold t-shirts, 3/4 zips, hoodies, hats, mugs, and more. Everything you need to rep your favorite shows and your favorite crew. Whether you're rolling with the JP Peterson Show in Tampa Bay, From the Rough in Dallas, the Tim May Show featuring Clay Hall, or the Jeff Thidoff Show in Ohio, or any of our FanStream Sports original programming, we've got the perfect look for game day and every day. So don't wait. fanstreamsports.com. Click merch and grab your gear now. Wear the stream, live the stream, fanstreamsports.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, we are back here, March Chadness, to the bracket edition of it. So Nate and I talked about we wanted to do a Lonely Island bracket because Nate and I love the Lonely Island. It's hilarious. I enjoy all the Lonely Island stuff. And then I started looking at it, and I'm like, I don't think we can do this on as a kid-friendly, family-friendly show as we like to kind of keep this at the most part. And you even said that, like, I don't know how we're going to be able to talk about this stuff. And
I texted you. I was like, if I can't say this word and that word,
exactly,
I'm out.
Well, the thing is, I think we could have got rid of some of the ones. But then you start diving into the content of what makes some of the stuff funny. Like it just was not going to work out. So we decided, let's just do the cast members. So Nate and I, like you and I grew up watching Saturday Night Live, and it was back in the day you had to watch Saturday Night Live because if you didn't and you missed like something, like someone said, oh, like for cowbell, like if you did not see like the cowbell, skit when it happened, like when we were growing up, like you just had to wait until it came back on. There's no way to stream it, or if a buddy had taped it on their VHS tape, then you could have gone to his house and watched it. But so we watched it. We watched all the time on Saturday night. We would stay up, and there were some great times of that. What's one of your favorite sketches from Saturday Night Live that's not probably well known by people?
Well, first of all, having to watch it live, there was nothing more demoralizing than falling asleep and missing half of it, some of it, even anything. And you're like, oh man, because then when do you get to see it again? I don't know. As far as, I don't know, I can go deep into a lot of these. But growing up, I remember growing up, Dad would always turn on like the Belushi skits and stuff. And like that was when there was like a best of Belushi.
Yes.
So, I don't know how not well known some of these are, but I do remember the chocolate donuts was always a hit in the house. And, so we didn't get to see the older stuff live, but the Dana Carvey, Mike Myers, Sandler years, yeah, there'd just be random skits. I think the Dana Carvey one where they're at the restaurant and the Italian place and they're kissing on Kirstie Alley's arm, and next thing you know, they're pretty much dry humping her on a table. I don't know how many people have seen that skit, but that stuff like that is just great. Massive Head Moon Harry. I don't know if it was a one-off deal.
Those are the ones that were like so weird that when you talk about falling asleep, because mostly Saturday Night Live, the best sketches are going to be leading up to Weekend Update, and then after Update, it's a hit or miss, mostly miss. So if you fell asleep early on, it really hurt. Massive Head Wound Harry is one. Like it's a lot of these weird sketches that Nate and I love. Like there was one, and it was on the Chris Everett was hosting it, the tennis player. And I think it was the last sketch. It was the Nude House of Wacky People.
Nude House of Wacky People.
It is one of my all-time favorite sketches, and you almost couldn't see it anywhere because on the reruns, they would not show that sketch. It was like, they probably couldn't do it again today because Mike Myers played like a Japanese CEO of television trying to make American shows over there. And it's weird, and you either love it or I think or hate it. So that was one of my all-time favorite. Another
now
one.
Now you must fight the bear.
Now you must fight the bear. Then the bear left, and then you smell like American hamburgers. Okay, so and the other one I want to hit before we hit the cast member is I love it. It was when they brought in Billy Crystal, Martin Short, Christopher Guest that were over from another like sketch comedy, just as ringers coming in. It was Martin Short, Christopher Guest, Harry Shearer were on it, and it was the men's synchronized swimming for the Olympics. If you have not seen that and you can find it, go find it. It is so good. It is amazing. And those are two sketches that I think aren't known enough about, and I just love those to death.
With the life vest and the nose plug.
The life vest, no plug.
I'm not a strong swimmer.
I say that all the time. They're like,
you're
I'm not
pointing at each other.
swimmer.
You're not mad at each other. But it's, hey, you. I know you. I know you.
It's so good. It's amazing. So some of those older ones, if you check those out there. So we're gonna break this down here. We do have 32 because why not? There's enough. So, top bracket part here. Eddie Murphy is a 1 seed going up against Chris Kattan. He actually has 2 T's in his name, but I'm not going to fix it because he's a 16 seed and it doesn't matter. And then on purpose, Tina Fey versus Amy Poehler. I love them both. And I love them both for their sitcoms afterwards, because Parks and Rec and 30 Rock are some of my favorites. You have Bill Murray, Tim Meadows, Bill Hader, Fred Armisen. So we could have a Bill off here in a minute. So let's talk first. Eddie Murphy. Eddie, I wasn't sure how long Eddie was on SNL. He was on for 4 years.
I was going to guess 4.
Yeah, so I thought it might have been less. An all-time great. He basically saved Saturday Night Live, because I believe he came on the year right after the Robert Downey. Was he after the Robert Downey Jr. one?
Yeah, it was the Robert Downey. It was right after the Robert Downey, Anthony Michael Hall, Joan Cusack years.
See, that's what I thought.
He might have even been part of that cast towards the end.
And Randy Quaid.
Randy Quaid.
So they have some
up nowadays.
It's weird that cast, because they also had I think Anthony Michael Hall was on that cast too.
Yes.
They had some actors that went on to do great roles, and they are very great actors. It was not a good cast at all. So Murphy came in.
It was the 80s. I think there was a lot of cocaine involved. So
probably so. And Murphy has some of the all-time classic we'll get into later on, but you like Chris Kattan a lot. I'm not a big Chris Kattan fan. But when you get to the 16 seeds, it's kind of like it doesn't really matter.
I don't know how big a fan I do like Chris Kattan. The Roxbury guys was funny. But the Mr. Peepers, it's just, I've eaten an apple like that multiple times just because it's fun. The one Mr. Peepers, where they found his dad and it was The Rock, is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. So just for Mr. Peepers alone, if nothing else, Kattan belongs.
Right. Yeah, he does, but he's gonna lose to Eddie Murphy. So now we have the Tina Fey, Amy Poehler. They were great as the anchors on Weekend Update. Both writers. Tina Fey did hit it big with her Sarah Palin. Poehler was more of a just bit actress in some of the sketches.
She did some Hillary Clinton.
That's right. She did do Clinton. So they did get some of the political stuff, but they never really made their mark on there based on sketches and characters, except those two. And then they were just phenomenal. They're phenomenal.
They both had Bronx Beat. So they have this similar lineup. There's Update, Bronx Beat, and then they played a political figure.
And I love them both. They're great. I love them when they hosted the Golden Globes and that kind of stuff. So if I'm leaning one way or the other, I love Tina Fey. I'm a huge Tina Fey fan. And it's just I love her so much just for so many things. Poehler's great too, but if I'm taking this, I'm taking Tina Fey.
Yeah, it's like I said, they have similar resumes, but the fact that Tina Fey was head writer, I think, puts her right over.
I think it does. So I want to talk about this one. Bill Murray's going to beat Tim Meadows. It's going to happen. Murray was on for 4 years. Meadows was on for 10. But this is just more of a, you agree, Bill Murray's beating Tim Meadows, correct?
Yes. You're on for 10 years and you only get one recurring character, even though Leon Phelps as the ladies' man was great.
He got a movie out of it.
And that's it. As far as SNL movies go, it's probably right underneath the Wayne's World. Because a lot of them are birds. A lot of them are birds.
I've not seen that one. I have to watch the ladies' man. But
Will Ferrell, Tiffany Amber Thiessen. It's actually pretty good.
Here's the thing. This is going to be this segment here. Bill Murray already won, but this is a Tim Meadows appreciation segment right here. I can't tell how much I love Tim Meadows. Tim Meadows, any movie he's in, any TV show he's in, he is phenomenal in that role, and he makes me laugh. And Aliens in the Attic, he was in the Goldbergs.
He's in Pop Star. He's their manager, and he was the fourth member of. I was in a band, Tony, and I decided to change instead of an exclamation point, a question mark. So it was Tony. Tony. He was in the Chili's part of The Office. He is so great. He was in Shredder. He's just been in so many things. I like Tim Meadows. He just makes me laugh.
all the time. He was also in the Detroiters as the as the lawyer that just he tried his best.
Yeah, I got my Cavatier right here. And the ladies' man. Do you remember
the
referee in the NFL who sounded just like him? And
yes,
anytime he'd come on, me and my buddy Jeb be like, "Yes, he was. The ball was over the line, and that is an encroachment. And yes, that is disgusting."
yeah. Yes, no, Tim Meadows. I love Tim Meadows so much, but Bill Murray
wins.
He wins. He does. So now this is a fun one because Hader and Armisen are kind of like joined at the hip on just their time at like Armisen has been on there long. He was there 11. Hader was there 8. They've done some stuff outside with, if you've not watched documentary now, some of those
please go watch it.
So brilliant. Like the bowling one is my all-time favorite. And then the one selling the globes.
The globes bit is good. The best one with Armisen is when they go to pick up. It's like a true crime kind of thing, and they arrest him, even though they kind of know he's not the guy who did the murder.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
His character's so annoying that they're like, "Yeah, we just arrested him."
I gotcha. Yeah. So, Armisten's one of those guys, like a more of a like Phil Hartman type, where he could just any skit you needed him in, he could do whatever you needed him to do. And like I don't know if he had too many, like, I mean, he's on the Californians, but
a lot of his recurring characters were on Update, like the Garth Cat, the Nicholas Fain, the political comedian. He did do Bloomberg and Patterson and Lawrence Welk. And that really, reoccurring characters, that was the reason that was driving that. Like he wasn't the guy driving the Californians, or when he was doing Lawrence Welk, it was more for somebody else.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, the two of them together are great. I do love Bill Hader. Bill Hader's got Stefan. He's also got some great characters. He is he's one of my favorite impersonators. Like he can do so many great voices, and he does such weird voices too. Like he does something on Conan where he was Burt Lancaster getting his clam chowder and they forgot the oyster crackers, because I guess that was a true story. Like Bill Hader in interviews is great. I'm taking Bill Hader over Fred Armisen. I love them both, but I just think Hader has the better catalog of characters.
He had the veteran guy who had the puppet,
Oh yes, that was the one guy with Seth MacFarlane was the host. That one, that puppet one, is so good. He just does such great, like he could just go in and like the Vincent Price thing.
Yeah, and that was the thing. His impressions, like the Malkovich and Pacino, everybody does, but who at that time is pulling Vincent Price, Keith Morrison, and Alan Alda?
Yeah, I know. And they're all spot on too. So Hader wins. All right, so we'll go to the next bracket here. It's going to be Belushi's a 3 seed against Jason Sudeikis. You got Kristen Wiig against Norm. You got Martin Short, Billy Crystal. I put them together for a reason. And then you've got rounding out the top 16, Phil Hartman, John Lovitz. Again, if you are a news radio fan, I put that together on purpose. So Belushi as a 3, Sudeikis as a 14. Belushi is on there 4 years. If you know anything about the original cast, Belushi was the guy. He had all the great characters for the most. I mean, there were some other ones too, like the Coneheads, and then the Vegematic or whatever thing that
Bassomatic.
Yeah, Bassomatic. He's part of the Blues Brothers. He's the samurai, the Little Chocolate Donut, like
Little Chocolate Donuts.
And he was
cheeseburger.
Exactly. He stole the show. He was great. Belushi was great. I love Jason Sudeikis. Jason Sudeikis, though, like he's one of those guys that I think had a great run, but never really was like, okay, we have to find like a place to put Sudeikis in. And I love Sudeikis. Like Ted Lasso is me, like outside of Seinfeld, my favorite show. And I just love Sudeikis and everything he's in. He's so funny. There's so many different things he did, but like it's Belushi. All the way.
Yeah, just shout out to Sudeikis. The scared straight, him as the cop. Macintosh. That's too much. The John Bovey is one of the greatest things ever.
Yeah.
His dancing in the What Up With That. Not only just him doing the Running Man, but he just jumps from out of nowhere to get in there. the ESPN Classic, all the stuff with him and Forte are fantastic, but he does not beat Belushi.
No, I mean, he is so, like I said, like I was putting this together, I was like, how is Sudeikis a 14 seed? And it's just like
doing the seedings. Can we talk about this?
I'm doing the seedings.
I know.
So if you have a problem, you can email me. So no, but it's like even Tim Meadows, like I love Tim Meadows, Jay Sudeikis. Like it's so great, but like there's such big, like this thing about doing this, like SNL has some big powerhouse cast members, and then you got all these other ones that are great, and it's just like they can't, you know, if we would have broken up by like eras or something, then yeah, but like no, Sudeikis is great. He's one of those guys could play whatever, do whatever you wanted to, and like what's up with that? For whatever, I don't know why I love that one so much because it's the dumbest skit ever, but it makes me laugh all the time. Because Keenan's great, we'll get to Keenan, and then Sudeikis doing just the, like you said, just pops in and just does the dancing, and it's great. So this is gonna be an interesting one because for my money, Kristen Wiig is the best female character, in my opinion, that Saturday Night Live has ever had. No offense to Gilda. Gilda was great. To McKinnon, to, you know, Jan Hooks. You got all this, but Kristen Wiig is just so funny, and she's weird, but not in like McKinnon gets weird, and it's like really off that deep end, and I enjoy that kind of comedy. But Wiig, I love her, and then of course there's Norm. I don't know if you're leaning one way or the other because Norm had Update and he had a couple other sketches he was funny in, but he basically lived with Update.
Yeah. So this was a hard one for me because I do love Norm. And we were talking about it. There was one skit there where when Sylvester Stallone was on there and Norm and his wife were in a car wreck and Sylvester Stallone's coming up to help him. And he's like, I had this dream that I was in this car wreck and the guy who came to save me was the guy from Over the Top. And it's basically just Norm Macdonald making fun of all of the crap movies that Stallone made. And that's pretty funny. But other than that, it's the Update. I love Norm, all the OJ jokes, everything. It was always they came out with the best jobs for females for this year, and again, in dead last was crack whore.
Yes, I mean,
his delivery, and even watching it live at the time, a lot of the times the crowd wasn't really into it.
No, they were not ready for Norm.
I thought he was hilarious, but if you look at strength of schedule or in what they're doing, Wig has more heavy hitters. The Target Lady, Gilly, the Tiny Hands Girl. Every time.
And just her being able to do impressions and just like being anything and stuff. So like for my money, Norm is my favorite Update anchor of all time. And they've had some great ones, but like he just didn't do enough on it. So I think Wig wins it, just like you said, the body of work. But Norm being 11 seed is just an attribute to how great Norm is because Dennis Miller is not on this list. And he was basically the Update guy. Miller was great because he was the Update guy that made it really look like he was an actual Update guy and just was funny, where Norm looked the part, but it was a different thing. But it was the same thing where Miller didn't really have a whole lot of sketches, but he didn't make it. Norm's an 11 seed. So good on him. All right. So we got Martin Short, Billy Crystal. Crystal and Short, 1 year each. They kind of came in to help boost it. And to their credit, they were both phenomenal. The 1 year that they were on there, unbelievable. I mean, Ed Grimley for Martin Short. We talked about the
synchronized
swimming. There's the one he was like on that 60 Minutes where he's the real nervous guy smoking. Is great.
Don't leave out Jackie Rogers Jr.
And Jackie Rogers Jr. is one of those weird ones too, where it's like, how is this funny? Crystal had You Look Marvelous. He did that weird voice guy, like like that. Like he was great too. They were both phenomenal and they were both great together. But I think I got to give the nod to Martin Short just for the fact, like Ed Grimley alone is such a great character. And the fact that Martin Short was only on there 1 year, I think they must have had to do Ed Grimley like every other week because there are probably 5 SNL episodes of Ed Grimley when Martin Short was a cast member. And that none of them disappointed either. So It was great. And then you got the Phil Hartman, John Lovitz. John Lovitz taking over for Phil Hartman on news radio after he passed. As much as I love John Lovitz, some people do not like John Lovitz. I think you and I both like John Lovitz.
Yes,
he's funny. He had some great characters. The lying guy.
Pathological liar. Me and my wife, Morgan Finch.
Exactly.
That's
so
that's the ticket.
I mean, he was just great. And but Phil Hartman,
an annoying man. Can we give a shout out to Annoying Man?
Annoying.
And then I went to my friend David's, and he'd be annoying till he got yelled at, and then he'd just be like, "You don't have to yell.
You don't have to yell." I still do that all the time. Like, you don't have to yell.
How do you do it? Acting.
I mean, he had such great characters, and he was such like you could throw. He was great as like when he was the devil on stuff.
It was not so Tarzan and Frankenstein. Let's not
exactly. They both were on that, but Phil Hartman, for my money, he's a two seed. He's a 2 seed, but he was the glue because he could do any character, and like he could be that character, the side character, to need to be not funny, and he would do it perfectly, but still be funny, but not like stealing the show.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but then he had
yes.
Phil Hartman was a glue, but he had great characters like Unfrozen Caveman Lawyer, Frankenstein. He was Colon Blow guy.
Anal retentive chef.
The anal retentive.
Cleaning up when I'm cleaning, I'm always like, we need to put it in this little bag, then we need to fold it, and then we need to staple it.
Ooh, that staple is on a sharp bag. Better get like. Anal retentive chef is a highly. I'm glad you brought it up. Is a highly underrated character. It is so great. It is phenomenal. And Phil Hartman is just like he was unbelievable in everything he did. Even when he did like in movies and stuff, he was great in pretty much everything he did. So Phil Hartman does win. He could have been a 1 seed, but I put him as a 2. So that rounds out that first round there. We've got the next 16, Will Ferrell, Kevin Nealon, Kate McKinnon, Will Forte, Dan Aykroyd, Sherry O'Terry, Andy Samberg, Daryl Hammond. This is a powerhouse region right here. I mean, you've got Sherry O'Terry is a 13, Hammond is a 12, Forte is a 9. So let's kind of get this off. You and I love Kevin Nealon. I find Kevin Nealon funny, his stand-up, everything about him. Who he is also in Aliens in the Attic, along with
underrated kids movie, by the way.
It is an underrated kids movie. Go watch it. Ferrell's going to win. I'm not going to talk too much about Ferrell yet, but shout out to this is more of a shout out. Shout out to Kevin Nealon. He was great on Update as well. He played very well when Sandler would be on there and Farley. He was the subliminal. Mr.
Guy. Subliminal is one of the most impressive things to be able to do live. Without messing it up, nailing it every time. It's impressive.
He is, but it's Will Ferrell all day, every day. Kate McKinnon, Will Forte, which I did not plan it. We could have a Will off. We have a Bill off in the upper section. We could have a Will off here. I do like Kate McKinnon. She is funny. She does great impressions, and she's that weird, but it's like funny when she does the alien abduction lady. It is so bizarre, but she nails it so hard. But Will Forte, man, when he does there's oh my gosh, there's the one where he's like,
it's MacGruber.
It's MacGruber. He's like trying to he's the coach. He's doing the dancing with the boombox, and it's one of those things that goes on too long, but then it goes on even longer, which then redeems that it went on too long. Because that's a comedy where hey, it should stop here, but then it goes on a little bit longer. You're like, this is too long. But then it goes to the point where it's like, okay, now it's gone on longer than that, but that makes it okay now because it has gone on that long. That skit is like that.
Same thing he did with the spelling bee. Where he's just he goes 72 letters and it stops being funny about 20 in and then about 60 in. You're like, all right,
that story is great.
17 times in a row.
That story is great because Jack Black was talking about it because he was on and I don't think they really had an ending. And then Jack Black came up with this song, I think, I don't think it was part of it. They were trying to figure out how to fit this in. And then Jack Black comes in with that song way harder than it should be.
And we got the ESPN classic with Forte is Greg Stink, who has no knowledge of any of these sports. I don't know.
No.
Greg Stink is one of my favorites. And the whole John Bovey, him and Sudeikis doing John Bovey.
Dude, Will Forte is great. And it's so like one of my favorite sketches of the newer ones is the one with the Ticket to Ride, where it's like Jumanji. I'm not going to get Jumanji, and he comes in as the train operator guy, the engineer. That skit is so funny. It is so I love that skit so much on something. Just the wording of it, the pace of it. Wig is great, and then he comes in like it's so funny. It's so great. So I don't know where I want to go on this one. I think I want to go Forte.
I want to go Forte. It is the UFO abduction, and McKinnon being Giuliani always makes me laugh.
It's so funny.
She's amazing. She's one of the best female cast members.
Oh, she is.
Or any gender cast member for that matter. But I just have a sweet spot in my heart for Will Forte, so I'm going to go with him every time.
He's so great. And then because he did the sketch about Fart Face, which is so great with Jamie. Have you heard the thing about that?
Of course, we listen to the same podcast. We listen
exactly because. So, all right, we got Dan Aykroyd, Sherry Terry, another very good female cast member. Like Sherry Terry had some of the best, weirdest characters. She was part of the cheerleader thing. She did that lady with the makeup all weird, and she was just so funny. Someone said that she was the female Martin Short, and I think that hit exactly what she is.
Yes, that's actually perfect.
Yeah. Dan Aykroyd was great. He was one of the original cast members. He was probably him and Belushi, I think, were probably the two best of the two of them, Murray and Chevy Chase. I think Aykroyd and Belushi were probably the two best on there, even though I think Bill Murray's my favorite of the four, just on total body work, even outside of SNL. But
you can't count outside. We cannot count outside work on this one.
We cannot, though. We cannot. So this is interesting because body of work, because Aykroyd was only on for 4 years. I don't remember a lot of, because again, this is before us. And
we
I think
to see like Dad would show us.
Well, we would. Yeah. And I mean, like, and Sherry Terry is great, but like, it's Dan Aykroyd. It's Dan Aykroyd.
Coneheads, Wild and Crazy Guys, Blues Brothers. The Bassomatic. What was the guy who always had the unsafe toys, like Erwin Mainway or whatever?
Yes. I mean, you just take Coneheads, Blues Brothers, and
the Wild and Crazy Guys.
Wild and Crazy Guys. Again,
we are looking for American foxes.
That skit should not work, and it's funny because it's Aykroyd and Steve Martin. So, and then another one, 512 matchup: Sandberg, Daryl Hammond. Daryl Hammond was Phil Hartman after Phil Hartman. He could just do it all. He was the glue. He could do the impersonations when you need him to. He did a great Bill Clinton, and he could just be in any skit you needed someone to be in, just to do whatever. Daryl Hammond was your guy. He does all the voices. He does Sean Connery, just that.
That's like, what your mother said last night, Trebek.
I still like swords for 200. That's S words. So he's great. Sandberg, I think, is polarizing because I think people like he's like a Fallon type guy where I don't think some people either love him or hate him. Sandberg, for bringing in digital shorts and bringing in that to SNL, puts him at a 5 seed. He's probably overseeded, but I personally love Andy Sandberg for the digital shorts. I thought the digital shorts probably saved SNL.
It changed the game a lot.
To still be on. And the fact that they're all funny and like it just
even the bad ones are still really funny.
Even the bad ones
you
are
always
funny.
Look forward to it. When that SNL digital short came up, you were like,
that little screen. Oh my god, I'm excited about it. I was like, that kind of sucked, but it was still funny. Like even like Shy Ronnie for like this stuff. Like I don't think that's a great, but it's a great concept though. Right. It's just a funny concept. So I like Sandberg. Hammond's just like he's like Phil Hartman, but like light. And he was just a steady character. Sandberg changed the game. Get in the cage with Nicolas Cage and his Mark Wahlberg. I was just gonna say the Wahlberg thing. I could watch. Okay. I could watch an entire movie of him just doing that, and it would just be for me and nobody else. I could watch that all day long. I think that is hilarious. Just like the whole "say hi to your mother for me." I don't know why I find that funny. What your mother for me? All right. Is this? He's so great, and just like it's so many. You don't realize until you were going to do a podcast on the Lonely Island skits, the digital shorts, how many there were, and how many like really good ones, even the ones that don't get the recognition. And you're like, man, like I was not a big Laser Cat guy, and then I watched all of them in a row, And I think that's how you have to watch Laser Cat. You have to watch all the Laser Cats in a row, and then it's phenomenal. It is so good. You got lettuce.
Ever since then, have you ever picked up a cat and not gone?
I mean, you just do that all the time. I just did you pick up anything, laser cucumbers. It's whatever. You could do like the laser vitamin water, whatever you want to do. So it's Sandberg.
Yes.
But
I love Andy Samberg.
I do too. I think I like him more than Sandler when it comes down to it. I mean, I like Adam Sandler.
They're right there.
Yeah, so it could be an Andy.
And when they did a
on.
movie together, I was like, "Have you been reading my diary?"
I know. And then I never saw it, but I heard it was not good.
That's my boy. Oh, you heard wrong. That was the first rated R Sandler comeback after he was doing all the family friendly movies. If you like either one of them or both of them, you're going to think it's hilarious. So
that's what I think it is.
That is not a Sandberg or a Sandler.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. If you really like them both, you're just going to find it fun. Like I know there's people that don't like Will Ferrell, and I just like, how do you not like Will Ferrell?
I think
like I can see I can see he's annoying, but like he's so funny. And
it's a generational thing. Like Kelly's dad and Amy, they don't like Sandler. They don't like Will Ferrell.
No, my father-in-law
don't like
Andy Samberg, Will Ferrell. So all right, so we have a Chris off here. Not a Christopher off, a Chris off. Chris Farley, Chris Rock. Chris Rock almost didn't make it because I'm like, Chris Rock really was like not great on SNL. And I don't know how much of it was they just didn't write well for him or what. And then you got Mike Myers, Kenan Thompson, Gilda Radner, David Spade, Carvey, Chris Parnell. So let's go the Chris off. Farley, Rock. Obviously, Farley is going to win. Farley, I think, is underseeded as a 3.
I agree.
But, it is what it is.
A lot of heavy hitters. What are you going to do? And you're calling this the Chris off. I'm calling it the I'm chilling off.
It is the I'm chilling off. I didn't realize it when I put them together as a Chris off or an I'm chilling off. But yeah, the I'm chilling is pretty great. But Farley was great. We'll talk about him later on because he's going to win. But Chris Rock did have Nat X, which I always found hilarious when he's like that. February is Black History Month, and it only has 28 months, the shortest month. And then Farley would come out as the clown.
Want to have a parade.
Exactly. So Rock didn't find his niche on SNL. I mean, I think it helped his career, but he just didn't find that at all. So what about this Mike Myers, Kenan Thompson? How long do you think Kenan Thompson has been on here? How long do you think Kenan Thompson has been on Saturday Night Live?
If Tim Meadows was 10, I'm going to say Kenan's got to be close to 20, right? 19? I'll go 19.
Kenan Thompson has been on SNL, and he's currently still on SNL, 23 years.
Holy crow.
Yes.
So Kenan Thompson, niche, man.
He did find his niche. Mike Myers is great. He's been in on a couple things. So many great sketches that he did. Obviously, Wayne's World is the gem.
And Simon,
Sprockets,
and Talk, and when he was the hyper who was chained up to the jungle gym.
Right. Yeah. It's Mike Myers is going to win, but Kenan is great because Kenan is basically Kenan and everything. And like anytime you need a game show host, put Kenan in. Kenan is phenomenal. I've always liked Kenan. Black Jeopardy. I like Kenan even when it was like all that. Kenan, he's so great. I still to this day when he does his LeVar ball, like never lost. I still will just never lost on things. So
he does great. Steve Harvey, the Scared Straight is all because of him. And what up with that shouldn't be funny. And going back to Bill Hader, every time he goes to Lindsey Buckingham, he's like, Lindsey, we didn't get to you this week, man. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Lindsey, you mad at me? Like
Bill Hader. And then they actually had Lindsey Buckingham on there.
Yeah.
All right, hey. Yeah, so Mike Myers goes on. We've got 710, Radner, Spade. Spade was fine. Like he had moments. He was like had a couple. His big thing was just the Hollywood Minute was his biggest thing. All those other characters like the bye-bye and that kind of stuff were just minor of that. But he was in that. He kind of gets it when he was in that group. Him, Rock, Farley, Sandler.
And he was part of the Gap Girls with Sandler and Farley.
Exactly. So I mean, he was great when he was on there and stuff. But like, I think Gilda has to be on there just for like what she did as the female cast member there, more than Spade.
And Rosanna Dana.
Rosanna, and some other ones, and then we got Dana Carvey, Chris Parnell. Chris Parnell, this is gonna be another one. Like Carvey's gonna win. I'm not gonna talk too much about Carvey till next round. Parnell is just another one of those great glue guys. He's just funny in everything he's in. Like Lazy Sunday, like Parnell is probably my favorite part of that. I mean, I love Sandberg, but Parnell is so great in that. And as the doctor, I mean, he's just great.
Oh, speaking of skits, I should have thought of this one that not everybody knows. He's doing an infomercial, and it's Steve Martin and Amy Poehler, I believe.
Yes.
Do not buy stuff you cannot afford. Like, I don't understand. How does it work? I watched that yesterday. It was just laughing. It's fantastic.
That is one of the best skits. It's a short book. It's just one page. It's don't buy stuff. So if I don't have the money, but I want it, I should still buy it? No, it's all in my book. No, it's
at the beginning of it, he refers to something in chapter 3, and then later he goes, "It's only one page."
So Parnell is great, but like it's not like, and Parnell's great. Yeah, Parnell's great. He does some voices later on and stuff, but yeah. All right, so now we got Eddie Murphy, Tina Fey, and then the Bill Off Murray Hater. So this is Tina Fey's great, but it's Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy with he was just like, dude, it's unbelievable because I think one of his underrated ones, and I think people still love it, but Buckwheat was it. The whole premise of like Buckwheat is the best, and then the whole when he got shot by John David Stutz is so funny because it's always just to take on number one, the 3 name guy being the murderer of somebody. The assassin. And then because normally it's like people are always like, oh, I'm surprised that he was such a quiet guy. It's like, do you believe he shot Buckwheat? Yes, yes, I do.
Yes, he talked about it all the time.
That's all he ever talked about. And just like Celebrity Hot Tub with James Brown.
Have you gotten into a hot tub ever in your life without going, it's hot in the hot tub? We're gonna hot
tub. And then one of the other ones is when he goes undercover as a white man.
White.
And it's like, it's so great in his white walk that he does. Murphy's a powerhouse. He's going on. It's not even close.
Yep.
Murray Hater is going to be a tough. This is a 4-5 matchup, so it should be tough. Like Hater had the longer run because none of those guys early on had too long of a run. They're all right around that 4-year mark.
Yeah, Murray came in to replace Chevy Chase in season 2, and he had like Nick the Lounge Singer and the sketches with him and Gilda Radner where he was Todd is great. He would do a good Richard Dawson. Bill Murray, I think, is one of these. I was talking to Aiden. I was like, he's one of these guys that his career after SNL far
absolutely
his SNL career. So if we're doing SNL careers, as much as I love Bill Murray to death, I might have to go Bill Hader.
I am going Bill Hader because, like you said, if you're just going on SNL alone, it's got to be Hader. Like Murray is great. Like I love like pretty much any movie Bill Murray's been in afterwards. Like how much do you and I love? What about Bob?
You can judge how much you're going to get along with somebody if they like What About Bob or not. If they like,
right, exactly.
Stupid, it's like I don't know if we. Can
I mean, Hader's just got the longer. He just had the bigger stretch. I think some of these guys early on. It was a different era. And the way the sketch comedy game has changed, it's just different. Like, I think these guys could have been huge. These guys could have had great characters had they been in this era. I think it'd been unbelievable because, a guy like the groundskeeper from Caddyshack would have been probably a recurring character on SNL for Bill Murray. Carl.
He's assistant groundkeeper.
Assistant to the assistant. Okay. All right. We got Belushi a 3, Wig as a 6, Short, Hartman. Let's go. Phil Hartman beats Martin Short. Martin Short was only on there 1 year. He's great, but it's Phil Hartman. He's going on. Belushi, Wig. I could go either way. I'm
going Belushi. I love Kristen Wiig, but I
think that's where I'm going to because I think Belushi's main characters are better than Wig's main characters.
Well, and when he would do, his Joe Cocker impression was great. And
Dude, that
still,
was phenomenal.
The little chocolate donuts, where they show him doing the decathlon.
This decathlon, he's like running and like
he's got a lit cigarette, eating chocolate donuts, burning a heater. It's so fat.
And Belushi's one of those guys. His face eyebrow raise, matched by nobody. He could kill just by a facial expression
without saying a word.
No, well, the fact that he's a samurai and he's hilarious and he's not even saying anything. So and he's half the Blues Brothers. So that's that's that. Now we have a Will Ferrell, Will Forte. Again, as much like Will Forte, Will Ferrell. We could talk about him. We didn't talk about him too much. Will Ferrell's characters. Number one, he's got some great characters, but even when characters aren't great, they're great.
Right.
Like
just the get off the shed. Get off the shed. Or the baseball game. Get your foot on the bag. Get on the bag.
From that same episode, because that was the Sarah Michelle Gellar one. Sarah and I still to this day, the sketch isn't great, but like I will, if you get mad and just yell, "I drive a Dodge Stratus. I drive a Dodge Stratus." Like that character was so weird. Like he was, even the one
biggest recurring characters might be my least favorite. The cheerleaders are funny, and
they are, but
Anna Gasteyer were the music teachers. It was funny just because they were like,
yes.
But you give me the hot tub guy.
The hot tub guy. You give me the
doing James Lipton and the cowbell.
Yes,
we gotta have more cowbell.
Dude, cowbell. Like he makes that sketch, and they talk about that too. Where what made it funny, I guess, like Will Ferrell says he didn't, but Fallon and them say he wore a size smaller sweater
than what they did in dress rehearsal.
When they did, and he says he didn't remember doing that. He is so great. It's like Bill Brasky.
Skits not everybody knows. Bill Brasky. The Brasky skits is some of the greatest. I still say, he'll eat a homeless person if you dare him.
Hopefully, at the fantasy football people should know it now with with Bill Krosky Merritt, because they know the fantasy footballers did that too. But Ferrell was just like he was funny in every single sketch, even the ones that were stupid. When he had the little phone when he's there with like Sean Hayes and Fallon, like. He's just
when he was doing the drill sergeant and he's hitting the guys with his hat.
Yeah.
Like nobody can keep a straight face. He was the guy who I think he went out of his way to try and break everybody.
I think he did. And then there was the one where he was the old prospector Chiggins. That sketch, this has no business being funny, but it's because it's him with those pants. He just had a way about him. So he's going to win. Aykroyd, Sandberg, I think it's Sandberg just for the, the digital
shorts are a game changer. He didn't really have the greatest recurring characters.
He did.
The digital shorts were almost always the funniest skit.
Every
week.
Yeah. And like I tell you, I was going back and watching one. The one I really enjoyed was the one was him and Wig doing the physical challenges. And there, that was pretty funny. Like shoe hands and stuff like that. So, all right. I'm gonna go down here. Carvey, Radner. I think it's Carvey pretty easily. We'll talk about Carvey next round. Like Dana Carvey, you talk about great reoccurring characters. Dana Carvey may have had the best of all of them. Just he has so many great ones. He was so good. He was so funny, and he could impersonate anybody.
Yes, his impersonations is Carson and Regis, as good as it gets. It's Hans and Franz, Wayne and Garth, the church lady. And you got the little stuff like chopping broccoli, massive head wound Harry. Yeah,
right, exactly. Yeah, and one of my favorites, I guess we can say at this day and age, is Lyle, the effeminate heterosexual. What? That's insane. So, he's going on, and then we'll go Farley, Myers. As much it would be great to have a Wayne Garth off, Farley beats Mike Myers. Yeah, Farley
was one of those where even if it wasn't a recurring character, once you saw him come on, you're like, this is going to be good.
Like you just didn't know. Like they talk about the one where it was like Carvey and Sandler doing the pepper. They talk about that where all during dress and stuff, he just says, well, that is the perfect amount of pepper. Thanks, Pepper Boy. Then they get on live and Farley ramps it up 400.
Thank you, Pepper Boy.
And he just always was just so much bigger. Like you've got the motive.
decaf
Matt
coffee
Foley.
commercial.
Matt Foley alone, like, puts him in another level because that whole sketch, him falling and everything.
Get back on the right track.
He was one of those guys too, where I think him and Farrell like tried to just break everybody on it. So it's him. It's him all the way. So all right. So the Elite Eight: Eddie Murphy, Bill Hader, John Belushi, Phil Hartman. So you've got the 1, 5, 2, and 3, and then you got Farrell, Sandberg, Farley, Carvey, which is also the 1, 5, 2, and 3. So let's go Murphy, Hader. The Bill Hader run stops here.
It does. It stops in Mr. Robinson's neighborhood.
It does stop in Mr. Robinson's neighborhood, which that skit so great. Just the premise of it, it's beautiful.
Bill,
and
somebody comes to the door. Who is it?
Who is it? Because he'd be all, come here, come on. And then be like just yelling. It's like just a song, everything about it. So Belushi, Phil Hartman. This is a good one. I think it's Phil Hartman.
I think it is too. I love John Belushi, but Phil Hartman was just, and that was, can we go back, SNL? Lorne Michaels, I know you're not watching this.
No.
Can we get back to having like 9 cast members? Because it lets guys shine more. There's too many mouths to feed now. Phil Hartman was in every sketch, and even when he wasn't, when he was just the straight man in something, it was perfect. Phil Hartman
he was so great in it. Like he was great in that one Matt Foley sketch.
The Matt Foley sketch.
And he just like great. And like Unfortunate Caveman Lawyer is such a like
it's like, just a caveman.
Just a caveman. I don't know these weird, wild things that you're talking about. But what I do know is, and he just rattle off some law.
Get $1 million in compensatory.
Just such a great premise. He was just so good. Like, I mean, he's excellent. He is so good. So you got Eddie Murphy, Phil Hartman in the final 4. Farrell, Sandberg is interesting. Because I love them both, but I think Farrell because he just like, again, much like he just has so many characters, and he was great in everything. Where Sandberg had the digital shorts, he had a couple great ones, but other than that, he didn't have like the kind of recurring characters that Will Ferrell has, and he didn't steal every scene like Will Ferrell did.
No, and even if Will Ferrell, the Alex Trebek, he wasn't there to steal the scene in that one. He just had to get made fun of the whole time.
Right.
So even when he didn't have to go over the top, Will Ferrell was great. And, the James Lipton, the George W. Bush. Yeah, it's Will Ferrell gets the edge in this one.
Right. And then we got Farley, Dana Carvey, I think is probably going to be the toughest one. So I'm going to check out here on Emily real quick. I'm going to go use solo layout. Talk Farley, Carvey real quick.
Yeah, this is a tough one because body of work, it's got to be, Dana Carvey. But Chris Farley, like I said, was just electric in everything. Even with the Chippendales, the decaffeinated coffee commercial. The guy could go from 0 to 100 better than just about anybody. The physical comedy. I think Dana Carvey has the better body of work, but I don't know if I can explain, people who weren't there to watch it live, how exciting it was when Farley came into a sketch and how excited you would get. And I think I got to lean Farley. As much as I love Dana Carvey, I think I got to lean Chris Farley.
Right. Like if you were putting on I want to put on a sketch comedy show, and you said, hey, I have to have either Dana Carvey or Chris Farley, I think I would take Carvey because I could do so much more with him. But if you're talking like but then it's weird because in watching, I'm with you. I think Farley, he just brought the energy. And like you said, when you saw him in a sketch, you just knew, I don't know how good or bad the sketch is going to be, but Chris Farley is going to be great in it. And it's going to be memorable. And like I said, Carvey has like, dude, like the grumpy old man is probably one
we forgot about Grumpy Old Man.
Yeah, and it's still like he has some, like the church lady was iconic. Grumpy Old Man is great. There's like there's a Spade has his podcast, and he had Norm Nealon and Dennis Miller on there, and they're talking about who's the best to come on update, and then it was like Sandler, and they said Farley, And then Dennis Miller's like, what about Carvey? Mate, Carvey would come in. He says, and I am going to swear here for a minute. So, because I'm quoting. So he'd come on with that weak ass shit like the grumpy old man. And I'm like, what? This isn't even funny. And he would come in. He's like, this is going to kill. And he would come in. He would kill. And then he would lean over to me right before he left and be like, F you. And then walk off. Like
grumpy old man is as good as it gets.
Grumpy old man is so good. But I think Farley wins this because every time I can't remember a time Farley was in a sketch and it was like, you don't remember Chris Farley being in the sketch. Right. Like, I mean, I'm telling you, like Matt Foley is great. Like the Chippendale sketch. And I remember some idiot like Dave Portnoy or like there was somebody like that. It's like a guy like that that's not really in the comedy thing, but if somebody was talking about it, I can't remember who it was. It may have been a former SNL cast member.
I can't remember who it was. It was a former SNL cast member saying that it was humiliating and they shouldn't have done that. But I remember.
You know who it was? It was Bob Odenkirk was talking about it.
Yes, that's right. And then Kevin Nealon was on, I don't know, one of the podcasts I listened to. And I think Kevin Nealon shut that down. He's like, no, that's not what that was at all.
Odenkirk was like saying it was like
idea.
Yeah, like it was like, it was bad to do that for Farley. Like, dude, Farley would probably like he always would like Matthew Perry talks about when they're on that one, like it was like that Lewis and Clark type movie they were in. I don't remember what it was.
Almost Heroes.
Almost like Perry said, like there was a scene, like he'd come to the door, like he did the scene, and then he goes like, and literally it was like 10 seconds later, we go to do it again. I open the door and he's completely naked. He just decided so Farley, like that's the kind of stuff Farley loved to do. I think Farley loved to make people laugh. This is a hard one. And if you wanted to go Carvey over Farley, I am not going to bat an eye, but I think for me, it is Farley just because dude, everything, like even the stupid one, like the Fairley Boys or whatever, and he's like, let him mow your lawn for like that's
the Hurley Boys. Yeah.
The Hurley Boys. That sketch is the dumb, like it's so stupid of a premise, but it's hilarious. Just let him in. Like it's funny because he's just like he just makes that whole sketch is stupid, but it's funny because Chris Farley is Chris Farley. So that is our final four.
The Schmitz Gay commercial.
The Schmitz Gay commercial is great. Murphy, Hartman, 1-2. Farley, Farrell, 1-3. So Eddie Murphy, Phil Hartman. I was thinking about this because I kind of figured this is what this final four would be. Eddie Murphy, 4 years, pretty much saved SNL at that time, has some of the most iconic like sketches, even the ones that aren't as memorable, like the one he's the guy in prison and he's kind of like the poet guy or whatever.
Right.
Hartman was on it for 8 years, so not a huge long run. Probably does not have the characters that are up there with Eddie Murphy, but I think I may go Phil Hartman.
I think I do too, because part of the Eddie Murphy lore is what he did afterwards. I mean, he owned the box office after he left with, the Beverly Hills Cops, the Coming to Americas, the Trading Places. But yeah, if you look at it, he did have probably better as far as, Gumby was funny, but I was never like this Gumby guy.
Gumby was funny the first time. And then just like when you double dip a chip, you dip the chip once, then you end it. You do Gumby once and then you end it. It was funny, but like it doesn't get funnier the more times you do it.
I think I got to lean Phil Hartman too, man.
All right, I wasn't sure because I'm like, again, it's the whole body of work of this. And Murphy was great, but again, Phil Hartman brings so much to it that you just don't like. Murphy was like he had to be the main character in a sketch around him, where Phil Hartman could do all of it, and he just did it all great. So I took that. This one's going to be tough for me. But I think it's Will Ferrell for me, because if anybody can go up against Chris Farley, like anytime Chris Farley's in a sketch, he steals that sketch. He is phenomenal. He's over the top. He's unbelievable. I think Will Ferrell also brings that in like the same energy, but a little bit different just because he wasn't falling over things and stuff. But I think Will Ferrell brings that same energy. Like there's like any skit Will Ferrell was in, he was basically going to steal it and he was going to be just like outrageous in it.
Yeah, I'm going Will Ferrell. I want
like,
some scissor kick Angela Lansbury.
And that's a good, like here's a prime example. Because number one, I can bring up Tim Meadows again. There's the sketch. It was the like the Junction Gang sketch where they're all wearing the letters and it's like the U, the C, the K, and Will Ferrell's the F. And he's always doing the dance. They're always trying to get him to the front. Him just doing that, like alone, no other person could probably make it as funny as Will Ferrell does. Because if Farley did it, it would probably be way over the top and still be funny. If someone else did it, it just something about it, like it's funny. And then Tim Meadows like fighting him and stuff. It's like when they cut the break real quick before he can get to the front of the train of the letters with the F. So yeah, I think it's Will Ferrell. So now you've got Phil Hartman against Will Ferrell in this two completely different type of SNL primetime players. So who goes on to the bracket of champions in a few weeks?
I think I'm going Will Ferrell.
Yeah, I think I am too, because again, Ferrell was on 7 years. Hartman was on 8. Hartman was that glue. He had great characters, and he beat Eddie Murphy because Eddie Murphy had his characters, and then that was really it. Where Phil Hartman was in stuff that you remember him being in stuff like Colon Blow. Like Eddie Murphy would not do Colon Blow, and Colon Blow is just one of those great commercials. Like how many bowls of cereal you take? Oh,
yeah.
2? No, 5? No, 10. I don't know. You would have to eat 283 bowls to match the brand in Colon Blow.
Colon Blow.
And plus Phil Hartman could just do like the voiceovers when you needed him to do, like his voice was just great. But against Will Ferrell, like Will Ferrell is just so great. And I think part of it too is like he had that Chris Farley in him where he was not afraid to just do whatever. And if it worked, great. If it didn't, well, it was probably still going to be funny. Plus, it's cowbell, cowbell may be the greatest sketch in SNL history. Like we never really talked about greatest sketch, and that kind of stuff, but it might be. It's probably the most.
That's for another bracket, my friend.
That is, and we're kind of running late. We're going to talk about like our least favorite cast members, like the worst cast members of all time. Do you have your list?
Yeah,
because we thought Will Ferrell's the best. Who are some of just the absolute worst?
Terry Sweeney, A. Whitney Brown, people you wouldn't know until I started watching the two worst seasons considered season 6 and season 11. There was the one season 6, which I think was cut half short. I think that's when Lorne wasn't part of it. The guy Charles Rocket, who you pointed out was like the one of the bad guys in Dumb and Dumber. He's the guy who's like friends with the family. He was doing Weekend Update. He was doing a lot of stuff. He was not good. And there was this girl, Denny Dillon, who I had to turn it off. She was bad. But then, Gilbert Gottfried, Robert Downey, Anthony Michael Hall, a lot of these people should have been better. But
yeah, I think probably was the writing. Like I had Terry Sweeney is definitely he's the anti Chris Farley. Anytime I saw Terry Sweeney go into the sketch, I'm like, it's going to be the worst. He's going to go over the top and just be not acting and stuff. And it's not going to work. I also had Charles Rocket on there because he was just the absolute worst. He wasn't funny at all. And then there was there's some people I don't even know. Like there's someone that's on like Chloe Trost. Like it was on there 1 year. I'm like, I don't even know who that is. And so there's people, and there was one lady on there, and she was, and I think she's got like a 3 name. She was in an episode of Seinfeld where she's a redhead. She like played Elaine's roommate the one time. I can't think of her name. I'm trying to pull her up on this thing. Anytime she was on there, I hated like, I can't believe she's in the sketch. And it's just the worst. So yeah, we can maybe have like the worst one on there. So Laurie Metcalf was in one season of SNL.
How about that?
That is crazy. Oh, and Gary Kroger. That's another one. I was like,
yes,
Kroger. not great. So yeah, I don't want to go too long, but yeah, there's some bad ones and stuff too. So Will Ferrell wins. So we'll see what happens when he has to go up against DuckTales or something. I still don't even know how I'm going to rank these on there, but I like this. I like this one. SNL is just like, it's been on for so long. Everybody watches it. Everyone has their favorites, I think, favorite sketches. So down in the comments, who is your favorite all-time SNL cast member? What's your favorite sketch? Or even put in like, what's a sketch that you may not think people know that you find hilarious? Put it in there, because I'm always trying to find. I probably have seen most sketches, but some of this newer stuff I may not have. So it was a fun bracket. Nate, we still have plenty of time to go watch the Bears. So
yeah, I get to pace a hole in the carpet for
exactly.
the next few hours.
Exactly. So, hey, it's good talking to you as always on these Sundays. I'm not sure what we're going to do next week, but we will bring it. I'm going to see if maybe we can get Reimer back on next week, because it's been a few weeks on there. I know coming up here soon, once I get the board kind of ready, we're going to do a live version of this show. And we're going to do Weird Al songs, and it's going to be 64. And we're going to go live just so Tim does not have to sit through probably 2 hours of editing on it. We're just going to go live so to keep Tim out of it. But I want to get some of the stuff that I want to put on and sound effects in here. So, Nate, love you. Always great talking to you,
man.
We will.
Hey, I just want to say,
yes.
We're still waiting to hear from the people from Ego. If you want to join the likes of the great people at Turf Life and Golf Central Magazine,
yes,
get on board.
Get on board, Eggo. Come on, Eggo. I will see if I can eat an entire box of Eggos in under 3 minutes. So there we go. All right, but I will talk at you later. Thanks for watching. Go to FanStream Sports. Check us all out, and we'll talk at you next week.
Talking bracket, y'all. Talking bracket, y'all. We love a bracket, y'all.